Cashier told the bikers they won't stop following me. Their reaction left the store silent, is an intense real lifestyle story. Stay with us and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with others. So, let's begin. The sun had already dipped behind the Montana mountains when the dusty roadside convenience store flickered under its yellow lights. Inside, Emily, a young cashier in her early 20s, stood behind the counter, fidgeting with the sleeves of her uniform. The store felt too quiet, yet her heart felt too loud. She kept glancing toward the glass windows, pretending to check for customers, but she was really looking for the same old pickup truck that had followed her again. She had seen it parked outside for the third time this week. Tonight, though, the fear felt different, sharper, heavier, impossible to ignore. Just as she tried to calm her shaking hands, the ground began to vibrate faintly. A rumble grew louder. Motorcycles. A group of 5 bikers pulled up and parked near the entrance. Customers inside stiffened immediately, expecting chaos, trouble, maybe even danger. Emily surprisingly swallowed in relief. The door chimed as the bikers entered. Their boots struck the linoleum floor with confident thuds. They wore black leather jackets, patches from long rides, and helmets tucked under their arms. But what stood out most was the calm authority they carried, like men who'd seen enough life to fear nothing. The leader, Hawk, a tall, broad-shouldered man in his late 40s, approached the counter. His beard was graying, and his shark eyes softened only when he looked at people who needed help. Emily forced a shaky smile as he nodded. "Evening, kid. You all right?" His tone was gentle, familiar. Emily hesitated before leaning in slightly. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "They won't stop following me." She didn't want anyone else to hear, but her fear cracked through her whisper. Hawk straightened, concern washing over his face. "Who?" he asked quietly, his tone shifting instantly. She motioned subtly toward the window. Outside, under the buzzing parking lot light, sat a dusty, battered pickup truck. 2 silhouettes were inside, staring straight at the store doors. Emily's breath caught. "They're back," she said softly. "They've been following me for days. I didn't know what to do." The other bikers, hearing the tension, gathered near the counter. Their conversation stopped. Expressions hardened. Jokes faded. A stillness settled over them, one that made nearby customers instinctively step aside. The atmosphere changed completely, from casual to protective. Hawk exchanged a silent look with his crew, and without a single spoken word, they all nodded. It was a language built from trust, years of riding together, and knowing exactly when to step up. Hawk rested a reassuring hand on the counter and said, "Stay here, don't move." Emily's breath shook as she watched them walk toward the door. Every step they took was slow, controlled, deliberate, like men preparing for something they refused to take lightly. The bell chimed softly as they exited, but the silence inside grew louder. Through the window, Emily saw them fan out, forming a wall of leather and steel between her and the truck. The men inside the pickup stiffened when they realized the bikers weren't passing by. They were coming straight for them. One of them nervously adjusted his cap, glancing at Emily's direction, then back at the bikers. It was clear they hadn't expected anyone to confront them, let alone 5 men who looked ready for anything. Hawk stopped right at the truck's window and knocked once, not hard, just enough to demand attention. The passenger rolled the window down only an inch. Hawk leaned slightly, his voice calm but edged with steel as he said, "She told you to stop bothering her. This ends now. Understand?" The men exchanged tense glances. The driver tried to look confident, but failed miserably. "We didn't do anything," he muttered. Hawk's expression didn't change. He didn't argue, he didn't explain, he simply stood there silent and unmovable, the kind of silence that made the men shrink back instantly. Behind Hawk, the other bikers remained still, arms crossed, watching every twitch from the truck's occupants. No threats, no yelling, just the intimidating presence of men who protected their own, even when their own was a frightened cashier they barely knew. Finally, the driver swallowed hard, started the engine, and sped out of the parking lot. Emily exhaled in relief. The moment the truck disappeared down the road, the bikers didn't celebrate, they didn't laugh, they simply turned around and walked back toward the store with calm, steady steps, as if what they'd done was nothing more than routine. For them, maybe it was. Inside, everyone fell silent as the bell above the door chimed. The customers stared, waiting to see what the bikers would do next. Hawk stepped up to the counter, placing a bottle of water and a bag of jerky in front of Emily, like nothing unusual had just happened. "You're safe now," he said softly. Emily's eyes filled with tears she had been holding back for days. She managed a trembling, "Thank you," but words felt too small compared to what they'd done for her. Hawk nodded once, accepting her gratitude without making her feel weak. The other biker gently added, "If they come back, you call us. We ride this road often." Emily smiled for the first time that night, a real smile, the kind that comes when someone finally feels protected after being scared for too long. The store's quiet seemed peaceful now, not tense. The bikers paid and began to leave, but before the door closed, Hawk looked back and gave Emily a reassuring glance. No threats, no speeches, just a silent promise that she wasn't alone. The crew started their engines, the deep roar echoing like a warning to anyone who might think of hurting her again. And as they rode away into the Montana night, Emily stood behind the counter, feeling stronger than she had in weeks. What had started as fear ended with unexpected heroes, men who proved that sometimes the toughest-looking people carry the biggest hearts. And that night in that small Montana store, the bikers' quiet courage spoke louder than anything else.